Ben Avery, Tim Dillon's old producer,
Mhm.
and his new crew made a video. And listen, people were sending this to me and saying it reminded them of me. And quite frankly, I don't know where they got that. I think it's way off base. But I thought this was very well done.
I've watched it 10 times. It's never not funny.
Bert Kreischer's a fucking sad, drunk, fat slob.
Could be leukemia, could be metabolic.
Tom Segura's really turned into a piece of shit, hasn't he?
I need to run more tests.
Looks like Brendan Schaub still hasn't been invited to the mothership. Sad. Rogan obviously has no respect for
Why would they say that about you?
The drugs have turned into convulsions.
Ric Flair never stood a chance on Kill Tony.
This has nothing to do with the cancer, I'm afraid. I've been seeing this kind of thing more and more.
Doc, do you mean his leukemia?
No, the obsession with bad comedians. There's this network of YouTube channels dedicated to criticizing these guys. You got Too Lazy to Try, Patrick CC,
Porcelain. Even Comedy Enforcement does good work.
Not only am I one of these people, like I've met them at Skankfest. It's a group of people. They nailed us.
Dead Fool just gifted 10 Blind Mike Project memberships.
Hey, it works, you jackasses.
Everyone's now thanking him.
Thank you, sir.
But despite that, he still does great research.
I gotta be honest, Doc, they sound like huge losers.
Actually, they're all wildly successful.
I mean, does Andrew Schultz know he's not black? Yeah, go make
all
it.
All the criticisms they put in this it's just what Reddit says about these people. They did such a good job with this.
Band of hyenas, you fucking Nazi haircut wigger.
Blood sugar's dangerously high.
Kalila Kuhn's a fucking sociopath. Been using Bobby Lee for years.
Yep.
You know, can't believe this happens on the day I get my new hat. You know? Do you like the hat? You never mentioned the hat, buddy.
Boy, it looks like Matt Rife got some new lips. Guess he can suck dick better now. Stick to the crowd work, pretty boy. That guy's watching, Doc. Remember that. You're on fool's notice. Protect our parks. How about protect my ears and turn that shit off? Although the last 3 episodes have been pretty good, they seem to have hit a stride.
Hey, Doc, by the way, real quick, what do you think of the hat?
You look like fucking shit in that hat right now.
What was that?
You know what?
What's that, buddy?
I'm glad Theo Von cut Schaub out of his life.
Could be a brain tumor. Again, we don't know until the
They nailed every take.
Every single one.
I mean, look at him. Whatever it is, it's terminal.
Tom and Bert completely embarrassed themselves crashing the Pat McAfee show a few months ago.
Yeah, I think he's been through enough. I've been through enough. Here, you can do the honors. I know he was your Discord buddy.
He was a heckin' good mod.
You guys are straight murderers, B. I mean, they're having fun now, but just wait for the Austin bubble to burst. Rogan's expanding it into Vulcan. May have an Austin comedy festival too, which is just sad. I gotta say, I was surprised by Stavi's acting on Tires. Gerby's fucking rules.
Yeah, he does.
Sorry, buddy.
He nailed the people that they like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the people they won't shit on, they also nailed that.
Gerby's did rule, dude.
Yeah, there you go.
But you suck ass.
Hey, Doc, you got any nurses in here I could take for a trug walk?
God damn it. Just put him out of his fucking misery.
Ah, fuck Ben Avery. Fucking giggling retard.
Inside humor.
I can't stand to see you look like this, man.
Come on, let's fucking get this over with, gay hat guy.
Shout out to the shaman.
It's like the idea that he loves McCusker but hates everyone else.
Yeah, so my guess is Brendan was always trying to talk.
So perfectly done. Now the idea that people sent that to me, and someone just blatantly said, "This is you," and I said that. I like to think I have a different spin on things, you know. But now let's get to an episode that Too Lazy to Try talked about earlier this week.
Deadpool, real quick, gifted 10 more memberships.
Oh, thank you, Deadpool. See, guys, it works. Just talk about these fucking comedians. Yeah, I like to think I'm not as critical as some of these channels, but when everyone sends it to you and is like, "This is you," I'm like, well, I guess they're onto something.
Wait a second.
Oh, that was so well done.
Mhm.
Kudos to them. They've boiled me and many others down to a science.
Any nurses that want to go on a shrug walk?
Shrug walk. I'm glad, although like down to saying like, I'm glad Theo Vaughn cut short.
Then that Matt and Shane's is just rules.
Oh yeah, no, it's that's very good. So that's ridiculous, and let's prove them wrong about about all that. Jay Mohr was on Tiger Belly this week. I thought this was very interesting, just because Jay Mohr did disappear, and recently I forget why he came up, but I was like, what did happen to Jay Mohr? Because he was in the early days of podcasting for comedy. It was Rogan, Marin, Carolla, and Jay Mohr were
Yep.
kind of like at the like they were at the forefront of podcasting. And then he just kind of disappeared. I don't really know what the fuck happened. And it was silly of me to not know what happened, because he pretty quickly reminds us in this Tiger Belly appearance. So you can tell Jay Mohr has been bitter for a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I like this version. I've never been like a Jay Mohr fan necessarily. I haven't disliked him either. I just had no opinion of him. But like, this made me, I like this version of Jay Mohr where he's just like, I'm ready to fucking talk.
Comedy police.
And you've always been, I mean, I fail to mention Jay sometimes, you know what I mean? Or probably all the time, but I say that like, Mencia or Paulie, but then you remember, I remember Jay being very, very
Even so Bobby Lee has him on and is like, boy, I should have given this guy a lot of credit for being good to me in the early days, and I never once have.
Yeah.
Believe me, Jay Mohr notices.
Yes.
helpful, so it's like
That's interesting to hear, because when I watched this podcast, you guys are talking about how I was abusive.
when
You and Bert were talking about how
I do remember
like
this.
apparently I slapped Bert around and abused him.
he did
Like-
that. I didn't do it.
No, it was the whole conversation was about
Yeah, this was
About how-
the.
What did I say? What did I say? What did I say?
I remember old studio.
Yeah.
The first time we had Bert on,
Yeah.
I remember there was a whole thing
It's like,
about
Jesus.
that. Yeah.
Sorry for trying to help my friends out.
3.8 million views now.
What? How many views?
3.6 million views.
Six.
All right. Well,
Yeah, it's affected my career actually. You guys enjoy-
Yeah, it's actually ruined my life.
The following ways. The comedy,
but
police.
Comedy.
So yeah, the comedy police. He talks a little more about who exactly the comedy police are, particularly Rogan. You can tell he's annoyed at Kreischer, because if you guys don't know, the clip that they're referring to, Kreischer accuses Jay Mohr of stealing on Rogan famously. He accused Jay Mohr of stealing his Tracy Morgan bit.
Yeah, the story there.
Yeah, and then with Bobby Lee, he talked about how abusive he was. He accused him of like physical abuse, like he slapped him or something. And Jay Mohr seems to be saying like that just didn't happen. Jay Mohr in this, it's actually a good episode if you want to go check it out on Tiger Belly. But Jay Mohr talks about how he dealt with a lot of drug issues and everything, like getting clean from pills and all this stuff. So it's also possible that he was just like fucked up. I don't know, but he seems to be claiming it just didn't happen that way. And he talks more about Rogan and Kreischer.
think about what?
I mean, there's, you guys are friends.
My comments to this day, this has nothing to do with you,
Okay.
but going back, like, I can't post a picture of my dogs without somebody saying, "Did you steal them from Bert too?" Like literally, that has affected my career to the tune of millions of dollars when Rogan and Bert had that thing on.
For some reason, it didn't dawn on me that fucked with him that much. I remember hearing that story, but I guess I thought he just could have kept doing his podcast, but I assume that probably affected his numbers to the point that he stopped.
Right.
Because he stopped right around, and he makes reference to it later, but like he stopped doing his podcast right around the time podcasts really started to blow up and help people's careers blow up. And he's around the same age as Rogan, so I don't know what happened to him, but at least according to him, that had such an impact on him that he's playing half-sold venues now.
Comedy, end all, be all.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is interesting.
Yeah.
That he's the arbiter of funny.
But can I just? Yeah.
Considering all the times Joe Rogan has made us all laugh.
I understand. It's so funny that you say that because it's like now, like, I have a sense of like, I mean,
I'm trying to sell out bars in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
yeah.
And other guys are doing like arenas.
He's also married to a billionaire, so I have a hard time feeling bad.
Sure, yeah, I don't feel tremendously bad. It is funny though that he's just shitting on Rogan's comedy, and you're watching Bobby Lee like try to tightrope walk here and be like, I like Rogan, and I just did his podcast, but
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Sure. I mean, Bobby's like, what are the odds that I'd be back on there again? It took
Bobby's
this
like,
long.
God damn it.
It took this long for me to get on there in the first place.
True.
I got stitches, and out of all the comics on the tour, I did. Look.
Okay.
Yeah. Out of all the comics, that was on that tour, he was the only one to call Dave Attell and go, "How are you?" Yeah. He is a good dude, and I forever. I would die for that guy. I would.
Who else was on that tour?
Sam Morril, love him. Dan Soder, no. Nothing?
No.
Yeah, Bert Kreischer.
What do all those guys have in common? Where do they come from?
What do you, no, this is fun. This is great. I love this game. They come from America?
The guy not in that crew
Yeah.
is the guy to reach out and actually ask how you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Whoa, you're
Bobby's in such a pickle here. He doesn't know what the fuck to do.
I don't even get his point.
I didn't get his point there either. I don't know what he was talking. Like, is he mad? Like Sam Morril and Dan Soder are two of the funniest guys working today. Is he mad that they're successful? I didn't really get what he meant, but it is funny just to watch Bobby being a pretzel, where he's like, "This guy was pretty good to me early on, and we have all just kind of abandoned him."
Nothing but time to think about all this. As I sit around wondering why my late show and first show have been combined and it's still not sold out.
I enjoyed Bitter J. I know a lot of people like that he shit on Rogan and Kreischer and everything. I don't have a problem with either of those guys, but I do like him just being like, well, fuck. It's all I'm not getting on Rogan at this point. So I'll just say what I think about him.
This is the last clip of it.
Well, this one I did really just for you.
It's labeled it uncomfortable.
Because despite all the people that say I'm the guy in that sketch we watched, I never talk about Kalila, you bastards.
I love when you guys did that podcast where you had to tell the truth or take a shot.
All right.
Oh, that's right.
I was really, it made me like love the two of you. It was so honest and beautiful. It showed like a very deep love. Like it was really great.
I actually had a big cry in the shower right before I got here. Thanks for mentioning that. And it was because
Today?
Just today before I got here. And it was like this deep, overwhelming like realization of like how much I genuinely like love him. And it's so weird. And I called my sister.
That's gonna be
Where in
so
Thailand? Where'd you come?
That's gotta be so uncomfortable for Bobby to be like, why are you doing this to me?
Please stop it. She doesn't want to get fired. That's why.
I guess. Well, she's like a part owner of their operation, I think. I
Yeah,
don't know if he could fire her.
he's stupid. He's
But
stupidly loud.
it is a little psychotic. Like, I don't give a fuck about what they're really like. If Bobby is into it, then good for him. Do whatever you want to do. But it is weird as like an outside observer to watch them be like, as she like will talk about fucking other guys while they were together and all this stuff. and they'd be like, I just love this motherfucker. I was weeping in the shower this morning about how much I love this man.
That's crazy.
It's pretty gross to watch. But yeah, it's a good episode. It's interesting. I liked Bitter J. Not all of his points made sense, but I did enjoy when he's like, we all know how much Joe Rogan made us laugh over the years, which is actually a take I don't agree, even though I found it funny. People shit on Rogan's comedy. I thought his last 2 specials were good, like decent.
The last, or was it one of them?
Triggered in Strange Times.
Triggered, I liked a lot. I haven't seen Strange Times.
I think Strange Times is the one where he talks about the woman working in the White House. Like, that's a pretty good bit. I don't think it's bad. Like, people make fun of his stool humping and shit like that. But
Yeah,
I think that might have been years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, he hasn't done that in a while. I think he who was it? Wasn't it what's his face from Curb? Jeff Green?
Yeah.
Jeff Garland
Garland.
was on talking about that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
being like, yeah, people like humping stools and stuff. What's that about? And Rogan's like, I don't know.
That's crazy. But yeah, we don't always have the exact same take as Too Lazy to Try. Sure, I rip off half his topics, but that's just because I'm also interested in them.